Hi, my name is Richard Tharp. I'm the author and developer of MemoryFox Professional. I'd like to give a basic setup and run for MemoryFox Professional 1.3.2. Previously, I've installed a copy. I have a desktop icon representing MemoryFox Professional. I'm going to double-click him. I'm greeted with a request from the user account control to elevate the privileges of MemoryFox Professional. Elevate it to administrative rights. And I'm going to say yes. You'll notice in your taskbar in the system tray, you have a new additional icon representing MemoryFox Professional. I'm going to right mouse click. I'm greeted with a menu that the first top 3 menu items and their sub items have been grayed out. And as you see here, is the case. I'm going to select the options. I'm presented with a MemoryFox Professional Options dialog. You'll notice that I have a panel that's called Snapshot Actions. This basically is functions that are provided for within MemoryFox Professional. There are 3 basic functions or methods that MemoryFox will execute. The first one is the reduction of the working set size. The second is an image snapshot of the Sys internal process explorer. And the third is a report generation on selected processes and their memory metric information that is saved in a TXT file. The first item in this panel shows the saved default directory that both the image snapshot and the report will be saved to. If a user chooses, they can choose a different directory, and say in the case of cloud support, whether you have Google Drive, Dropbox, or Microsoft SkyDrive, you're able to select your own choosing of the default directory, where both the image snapshot of the Process Explorer and the report generation will be saved too. I'm going to leave it at default right now. The next element in this panel is a timer. This timer has a setting between 1 and 60 minutes. The time is the period between execution of any of the 3 selectable functions or snapshot actions. In this demonstration, I'm going to check on the reduction of the working set, and I'm going to check on the image snapshot of the Process Explorer, and I'm also going to generate a report of any of the selected processes, and I want to combine their memory metric information within this TXT file. So I'm going to select them on. Now I need to tell MemoryFox which processes do I want to do the empty working set. So I'm going to go to the next tab. This panel has by default 2 radio selections. The blacklist processes is basically saying to MemoryFox, this is a list of processes that I do not want MemoryFox Professional in any fashion or form to touch or execute upon. The second radio button allows me to do a reduction of the working set on all inclusive processes that are currently running, including critical processes. I'm going to take the default and make my own selection for processes to the blacklist. This is the current processes showing in a list with the title heading of process name and a PID or process ID that's associated with the naming convention of each process. Some applications allow you to execute more than one instance of a particular process or application. Every application or process has an associate primary PID. I use this as a key to differentiate between one to many instances of a particular application. I'm going to say OK. They're all checked on. I'm basically at this point telling MemoryFox every process that is in this list, the blacklist, do not perform any action of any of the snapshot actions that MemoryFox can function. I'm going to choose Explorer.exe and Firefox.exe as two candidates to reduce the working set on. I'm going to leave the Flash players alone as well as the plugin container. All the check on boxes will not have any action performed by MemoryFox upon them. Only the Explorer.exe and the Firefox.exe will have any working set reduction. I'm going to go to the next tab to select the processes that I'd like to have the report generated on. I want to see global memory status within the report. I want to see the report also provide me with performance information. I'm going to make my selections of the processes I would like to include. And at this time, I only want two. I don't want any more than that. So I'm going to check, and I'm going to bring back only the Explorer.exe and the Firefox.exe. Now you see that this is a list of processes to report processed memory information. The fourth tab is Select Memory Sets and Lists. There are memory containers that are involved in the virtual area of memory management. These sets and lists, I strongly suggest you have a thorough understanding before checking any of these items on. There can be undesirable effects, as the listing says. I strongly suggest that you investigate each of the meaning and get some understanding of what these particular lists and sets are for. I'm going to go back to the first dialog. I'm satisfied with my selections. Now I'm going to say, okay, every minute I want you to execute these three snapshot actions. Working set, an image snapshot of the Process Explorer, generate me a report for the selected processes. So I'm going to say, okay, it's going to update this information. Now it's going to proceed at the 1 minute interval. It's going to do all three of those actions. I'm going to open up the default directory. And as you see, we have two files representing one, a report was generated, and a snapshot of the image of the Process Explorer was generated. This is a pre-log snapshot before there's any working set that had been made in a reduction. This is to give you the benefit of what was before the reduction took place. Now, if you don't select the working set to be reduced on any process, it will simply take the timer, and at the interval that you select, it will make a snapshot if you have it selected for the report, if you have it selected for the image, or both. I'm waiting temporarily for the MemoryFox Professional to execute at the 1 minute interval the reduction of the working set of the Explorer and the Firefox, and then followed 50 seconds later taking an image snapshot, and then 55 seconds later taking a report generation of the two processes that I chose. We get our first file, which is an image snapshot after 50 seconds. After 55 seconds, you'll notice in the content area here that we had an additional report given. I'm going to stop the action right now of all that MemoryFox is doing. You'll notice that as I stop, you can restart the action and pick back up, and it will execute the timer against the three types of actions that we have chosen. But I would like to take a view of the image snapshot of the Process Explorer. In the beginning, prior to the working set being reduced on the Explorer.exe as well as the Firefox.exe. Then we're going to launch Image Viewer that Microsoft has as the default for the operating system, and we come up with a blank screen. If we take our left mouse button and click Next right, it should bring up the first image snapshot. Let's take a look at the timestamp on this. We're looking at 14 minutes, 776 on the milliseconds. And if you look up here at the top, you'll notice it's 14 minutes, 776 milliseconds. The way that I structured the naming convention was to state the beginning word to be report or snapshot, the day, the date, and the time down to the millisecond to differentiate between one versing one period and another versing another snapshot period. So I'm going to minimize this. If you look, before we did any reduction of the working set size of either the Explorer or the Firefox, we were at 254 KB and 41 KB. I'm going to go to the next image. As you see, we have a reduction in the working set for the Explorer and also for the Firefox .exe. Now, I'm going to take a look at the report generation as well. This will pop up the notepad. It's a TXT by default. I have a dialog that says, why don't you choose the file? If any of the items in this list box are highlighted, and I select this X, it will delete only that one file if I say OK and follow through. Now, if I want to delete both snapshot files and all report files, then I would select this. But that's not what we want to do. I want to take a look at the first report that was generated, and I'm going to move him over here, and I'm going to go back and get the last report that was generated because I want to do a comparison. Okay, as you see, the working set here is at 41 KB and we're at 19 KB. In the Firefox example, we started out with Firefox at 254 KB and now we're down to 2604 KB. If you'll notice, it also took the global memory information status, system performance information, and you can tell from the criteria here, it's pretty much self-explanatory. And both files have the same criteria at the bottom there, global memory status, system performance, and also the window version. You'll also notice that 6.1 is the Vista version. If you were to run Windows 8, you would see the 1 be 6.2. And that's how you would differentiate between Windows and Vista. I'm going to close these two guys down. I want to take a look at my Firefox at this time. I'm at 41, right at 42 KB. I'm going to do a manual snapshot, and I'd like for you to be able to see that. Now, I've turned off all the dynamic action of MemoryFox, but I'm going to take a manual snapshot of both the image snapshot of the Process Explorer, and you will notice in this content area that an additional image snapshot of the Explorer will be taken. And there we go. Now I'm going to do a manual report generation off the selected processes I've chosen, and watch the content area in the Explorer, and you see we've got a new report generation. What I want to do is look at I could double click on this, or I can go to here to view it. It's 6 of one, half a dozen of another, whichever is quickest for you. But in this case, I'm just going to go ahead, since it's 221, and I know that's my last report. I want to pop that report up. I want to move it over here. I want to view my Process Explorer. I'm at 62. As you see right here, we're at 62 812 or so. It's pretty much normalized at this point. In other words, whatever was in the working set that had been lying resident and it was not in a viewing rendering aspect of the Firefox, it was just lying there dormant with no purpose really, just overhead. You can only see one tab at a time in the browser. Now, you could have background working within a web page, doing maybe some kind of search or just unlimited amount of work that could be be happening on a background page. But in this case, we pretty much normalized down to 63 KB from the Process Explorer versus that of the snapshot that was taken for the report. That'll give you some idea of the saving that we had. Keep in mind the original was at a working set size of 254 KB versus now at 62. And as you see, we pretty much normalized out. There's not any process time that has been somehow reissued out, causing a overhead of process time that is not necessary. So as you see, we've recovered quite a bit of memory here just by doing the reduction in the working set size. I'm going to close these guys down. And just for the viewing of it, I'm going to look at the image snapshots again. I show at 254, then we're at 18, 61, and it looks like we normalized out through those view snapshots at around 61. And we're at 64. So, pretty much got an idea here. We can restore all the actions to dynamically start the process of taking the snapshots that I've selected, the three types that are functional under MemoryFox Professional, reduction of the working set size, taking an image snapshot of the Process Explorer, and doing a report generation upon those processes I would like to have more detailed information kept as a hard copy that maybe I want to print off. Maybe I want to look at the information at a different location. I'd like to keep tabs on my server to see how it's performing while I'm away. And a lot of convenience there. Obviously, the delete, you can delete the images in the example here. And I'll go ahead and do that. If you'll notice, the images will go away. They are .png file format. We're going to remove all the TXT reports. And they're gone. And you will notice that our sub options or menu items are no longer available to us. This is a basic overview of how to set up and run MemoryFox Professional. I would like to, at this time, I would like to say something in regards to the Process Explorer by Mark Ruzhinovic. You could go to technet.microsoft.com and you can look for the sysinternals and you can select the Process Explorer, just that utility alone. If not, you can download all of the utilities by sysinternals, and it's your discretion, whatever you choose. I would like to mention that you can also take advantage of getting a hands-on experience by demo by some top developers Andrew Richards, Chad Beater, and Larry Larson. These guys are really, they know their stuff. And exceptional demos. And it's at channel9.msdn.com, and shows, and then defrag-tools. You can just do a global search of defrag tools, and you should be able to get these demos. Mark Rushinovic, if you go to Channel 9, you can do a search for him, and you can find all the videos that he has either introduced one-on-one or has assisted other demonstrations in regards to help demos to understand the architect of the Windows operating system and its memory management. Very brilliant guy. He also has a listing of his book material, which you can go to the systems internals at technet.microsoft.com. And you can get a listing, the books that he has authored. And you can also go to Amazon.com and do a search for Mark Rushinovic. And there are 3 books that I strongly encourage you to invest in. There's a series, 6th edition, Windows Internals, Part 1 and Part 2, and Windows Sys Internals, Administrator's Reference. These 3 books, if you could only afford 3, these would be strongly recommended. Gives you good foundational principles. Just at your discretion, make an investment. You won't be sorry. I think that being able to look at the legacy, as he mentioned, some of the information, how it was brought forward, how Microsoft dealt with a number of issues, I just think it's good reading material to get the foundational principles to have your system running as proficient as possible. So do check out Mark Rushinovic's material. That's pretty much the demonstration of how to run MemoryFox Professional. Oh, I would like to say one other thing. I do not hook code into the Process Explorer. I don't manipulate the code. I only take a snapshot of what you see here on the desktop. It happens very quick. You don't see it, kind of like a background snapshot image. This is the end of the demonstration. If you have any questions, drop me an email at idevfh@gmail.com. Keep your questions brief. I'll try to answer them as quickly as possible if time limiting. I thank you for your time.